says we're live.
Okay, welcome everyone to the August 9th, 2023 Parks and Recreation Commission meeting for the City of Meridian. Could we have roll call, please?
Yes, thank you. Keith Bevan is absent. Jennifer Bobo,
Present.
Dom Gelsomino,
Present.
Joe Greer,
Present.
Ellie Hood, Mandy Roberts,
Present.
John Nesmith.
Present.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to ask for a motion for the adoption of tonight's agenda.
Madam President,
Commissioner Gelsomino,
I'd like to make a motion for the adoption of tonight's agenda, please.
thank you. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Greer, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay, no opposed. All right, thank you. The agenda is adopted for this evening. And may I have a motion for the approval of the meetings, which would have been our June 14th, 2023 regular meeting was the last regular meeting that we had.
Madam President,
Commissioner Gelsomino,
I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the July 2023 minutes.
thank you. Do I have a second for that motion?
It actually is a June 14th.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
I
Correction.
apologize. June 14th.
June
Minute.
14th. Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, we have a second, and for all in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
And all opposed? Nay, no opposed. Okay, thank you so much. So we will move on to announcements. And it looks like first up, we have our own Shelley Houston. Come on up. Talented comedian, by the way, in case you haven't seen her.
Funny and funny looking. Okay, so as per usual, I've given you the kind of updated calendar of events. We're kind of in that transition where we're almost done with our summer activities. We've got one more movie in Settlers Park this Friday night. It's called The Bad Guys. It's animated. And then the following Friday night, we'll have our final Bree Kleiner Park live concert featuring the notables at the Kleiner Park Band Shell. If you haven't had a chance this summer to take in one of those concerts at Kleiner Park, let me tell you, they are smoking. 600, 700 people. People like Steve Sidaway are up dancing. It's quite awkward. Really, it's just stunning. People that are coming to the concert on purpose. I think others just say, oh, it looks like there's some excitement. Let's join in. I don't know what it is, but it is just, we've just hit the magic button. And I think we'll probably be able to certainly continue and maybe add a few more features where we've talked about food trucks or this or that. It's not for me to say, but I think we'll zhuzh it up and keep growing it. It's very successful. There is one event I left off your calendar. It spaced my mind. Coffee with the Mayor. There is a Coffee with the Mayor scheduled for Tuesday, August 15th from 8 to 9:30 a.m. And this time it's going to be over at the Cadence at Century Farm Clubhouse. That's a new subdivision out towards Discovery Park. I can't tell you the exact address, but it's Cadence at Century Farm Clubhouse. If you need to ask us about it, we can get you some more information. So you're all welcome to that, of course. More exciting for me is the activity guide for fall has just come out today. We, in an effort to reduce waste and be a little more eco-friendly, it's now just an online publication that we totally prepare in-house. So that makes it a little more flexible and easy for us to work on. So it's been posted online at meridiancity.org/activity guide, and registrations for the fall activities will open this Friday at 9 a.m. We've already found a couple little ticky tacks we want to correct, as we always do. So we'll publish a fresh version in a couple days. But for now, this is 99.9% it. Everything else is going really well. We're getting ready for Meridian Art Week and Veterans Day and Trunk or Treat and Christmas. So it never stops, and neither do we, thank goodness. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? Anything at all? No?
I might just say how much I enjoyed the concert last Friday. And what particularly, I think, made me proud was there were so many different ages there. And there were teenagers dancing to songs that I danced to when I was a teenager. So I thought that was great. Yeah.
It's an excellent event. It's exceeding our expectations. And now once these free concerts in Kleiner Park are finished, starting at the end of this month and into September, we'll have 3 additional free concerts out front here at Meridian City Hall. Those are what we call Kleiner Park Live with Guilty Pleasure, which is a pop group, the Kings of Swing, which are a big band, Glenn Miller type orchestra. And then we'll top it off with the Summer Groove Party Band, which we all affectionately know as High Street. So anyway, 3 more concerts, even after the
Concerts
park.
on Broadway, Shelley. He said Kleiner Park Live.
Oh, concerts on Broadway. I'm sorry. Yes, right out here in front. And it's free as well. Okay, if we can ever answer any questions or help clarify anything, we're not far
Any
away.
questions from the commission?
Okay, have a great meeting.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think Director Sidaway is up next.
I am up next. I want to announce our annual Parks and Recreation tour. Falls on the September meeting of the Parks and Rec Commission every year. We have been putting together what I hope will be a great tour for you all this year and the city council. I sent it out to the city council members yesterday and starting to gather RSVPs. We're gonna start you off at the Lakeview Golf Course, which we met at last month for our team building. We'll kick things off there with a dinner and some equipment demos. We'll get on the bus and we'll hit several sites to show you recent project updates and accomplishments. We'll go see the new Seasons Park theming is now in. If you remember approving that several months ago with the acrylic panels that look like leaves. We have the sign as well as in the picnic shelter. That's now in and ready to show you. We'll go see some pathway development over by the wastewater treatment plant. Take a look at the new Trail Hub art piece. And then we'll go by the Bear Creek Playground, which was also installed at the beginning of the summer. And the kind of the main event will be going back out to Discovery Park Phase 2, which when we were there this spring was freezing cold. For those of you that were there, remember. But a lot of progress has been made this summer, and we want to take you out there and do a tour. That's where we'll get off the bus and walk around. We'll on the way back, we'll see the roundabouts on Eagle Road and the landscaping that has been done there. Go through Story Park, talk about the pool, and then head back to the golf course from there. And then, of course, along the way, you'll get updates on sports and home court and lots of different things as we travel from location to location. So anyway, we're hoping people will meet between 5 and 5:30 on at the golf course on is it the 13th, I believe? Yep, the 13th. And we'll have you back sometime between 8:30 and 9 is the plan. So it'll be a full evening. And yeah, we're preparing now and gonna hopefully give you guys a nice tour. I'll ask if there's any questions or anything you were hoping to see that I didn't mention.
Any questions from commissioners?
Okay,
Looking
you.
forward to it, Steve. That'll be fun. Okay, moving on. We have no old business tonight, but for new business, we have an update on Home Court by Jake Garrow.
Thank you, commissioners. I was fully expecting to have some walk-up music by Garrett, so he's been after me all day. A little Eye of the Tiger, but he was fell asleep, not paying attention.
That would have been great.
Yeah. So excited to be here. Got a lot of really good things happening over at home court. During the summer months, typically we don't see the numbers that we've been seeing over at our facility this summer. April, May, people start to transition outside and play pickleball, volleyball, and basketball. We do see some basketball players stick around during the summer, but one thing that we did, one group that we had with us a lot this summer, throughout the summer, was our pickleball crowd. So with that being said, I've prepared a few slideshow here and a couple of remarks. We view internally, I know myself, as pickleball is just Meridian Home Court serves as a community center to the citizens of Meridian as a whole. And it's the goal of the Meridian Parks and Rec Department to create and provide a fair and equal opportunity for folks in our community to use that facility. And I will touch on that a little bit later. This is kind of the philosophy that I take when making space available to the public, because we are a membership-based facility. And I will touch on that a little bit later on how we are this September going to kind of change the court space availability to community members to allow more of the general public to use it. So a couple of facility maintenance projects. This one is actually going to take place tomorrow. This sign is located right in front of the front door when you enter the facility. I noticed when I was coming around the corner, entering the facility about 2 or 3 weeks ago, you see all this black residue stuff in that sign. Garrett, who is it Allied Meridian Signs? Signs, etc. Carter Little with Signs, etc. is sending a crew out tomorrow. We're going to change this, is what it is. We're just going to be installing a new panel flex face and with the home court lettering, and we're going to be converting all of the lights over to LED. So, and this will take place tomorrow. Staff tonight will section off the front of the facility. Fully expect the Carter and his crew to be there in the morning about 6:30. We'll swap this sign out and move forward. Another project that we have scheduled for home court is we are going to be servicing and inspecting all 8 of our ceiling basketball mounts. The purpose of this is just to make sure everything's connected to the ceiling, working in proper order. There's a lot of moving parts on these basketball goals. We took over the facility in August of 16, I believe it was, and Garrett had those serviced shortly after that time. They haven't been done since. So I think with us moving into our busy time with folks coming back, this is something that we need to get done shortly. And this project will take place August 24th through the 27th. Then after that Monday, August 28th, we've got our home court, the floor resurfacing program or project. And what that is folks will come in, they'll screen and sand the floor, and we will refinish it with a 2-coat polyurethane finish. This states here, the project will take place August 28th through the 7th or September 7th. It actually will be done that week, that first week. So the floor will be done September 1st, but the residue and the smell left behind from that polyurethane finish, we need to keep the facility closed. In court 5, community education classes will continue to take place, but we will visqueen off that area of the facility, so it won't be so bad. And during those 2 weeks, we can roll up the big garage doors to help alleviate that horrible smell that's left. And when we reopen, we're going to open the facility on September 11th after our floor resurfacing project. We're going to go to our extended hours. Beginning in September, a lot of our recreation department activities start to take place at home court. So our hours during the week will be 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. We need that extra hour in the evening for fall co-ed volleyball and winter volleyball and adult basketball when all that starts. And on Saturdays and Sundays, we'll expand our hours from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Currently now we're closed at 7. So our transition time, you see these hours on the left that are current. We move to those hours Memorial Day weekend, and we stay through those hours until after the floor resurfacing project. Talked a little bit about in that opening slide, creating more space, finding some fairness and equity in facility usage. This schedule here, mainly want you to concentrate on the schedule that where it says club from essentially 4:30 to 10. So previously from September through May, from Monday through Thursday, from 4:30 to 10, all of those hours were reserved with youth sports practices. And you got to keep in mind, our facility is membership based. So last winter was a really long winter for us. We had a lot of space that was chewed up with these AAU groups. And we've got members in the community, they're buying the monthly membership pass that we're simply turning away at the door. That's not right. That's not fair. So what we're going to move towards this summer is those groups are still going to be with us September through May, but their practices are going to take place from 4:30 to 7:30, Monday through Thursday. Then is when you at 7:30 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we've got some time for the general public to come in and play volleyball, pickleball, full court basketball, and we'll keep one basketball court open for folks and families that just want to come in and shoot around. And we will still go with that same setup on Friday. We'll have one court set up with volleyball. We'll have 2 courts set up for basketball and 1 court set up for pickleball. So we're moving into, we're becoming more family friendly. Like I'd mentioned last, and we are family friendly, but we're just opening more space for the public. Last winter was a little long with the number of reservations that we had from the AAU groups. And this slide here is, you can see is from December through May. In December, our adult basketball program kicks off. So one of the courts, court 4, that'll be the site of some of our adult basketball games. So that court will go away from the public, but we still have ample room for the public and elsewhere within the facility. Weekend facility usage. This is kind of what you will see at home court if you come and visit us on Saturdays and Sundays. Court 1, we have the 2 volleyball nets set up. Courts 2 and 3, we keep open for basketball. And at maximum capacity numbers for basketball, court 2 is 5-on-5 full court, and court 3 we kind of split up for families and people to shoot around. Court dividers. With all that's going on over at home court, this little project that we did shortly after we opened was a lifesaver for us. I don't know if you're familiar with the facility. The curtains structure is the same, but we used to, when we lower them or raise them or lower hoops or raise basketball hoops, we had this dinosaur, I don't even know what it was, built into the wall to where you had to put in this code, then peek around the window and hit the number up and down. And so when we did our new curtain project, what you're looking at here, this is the picture of the iPad that we use. That letter A, that raises and lowers the whole basketball backboard setup to where it can swing out from basically our ceiling. And when we have volleyball matches and things like that, we actually store that hoop up against the ceiling so it stays out of the way. B, those arrows that right below B, those are the arrows that adjust the rim height, and C obviously are the arrows that adjust the raise and lower the curtains. You can set this up. For example, every Monday and Wednesday, Friday on courts 2 and 3, we have noon basketball. You can program this iPad very similar that you could program like a sprinkling system for the curtains to raise and lower at certain times, even the basketball. backboards and backstops to raise and lower, or simply get out of the way for another activity such as volleyball. So we just kind of, we don't do that. It's just, I think it's more effective for us to just raise and lower curtains in basketball hoops as needed. There's a picture of the basketball in stow, stored up against the ceiling. And you can see all of these bars and connections. There's a lot going on there. There's cables, and we just feel like at the end of the month, this project, this service project of these basketball units needs serviced, and so we can keep the facility in good working order. Day rates and memberships. Those numbers of memberships on the right, the adult residents 200, the youth and seniors 390, the non-residents 482. Not all of those memberships are active. I can comfortably say about a third of those are active memberships within those certain groups. As you can see, home court is really reasonable. I did this fall or earlier this summer, put out a survey. I was seeking to change our membership program, move away from a monthly membership program to a 30-day punch pass. So currently how it's set up is our memberships expire 30 days after the date of purchase. So what I wanted to move to was simply a 30-day punch pass. So we'll take example of the Meridian adult resident. That day fee is $3. So you take $3 times 30, the price of that 30-day punch pass would be $90. I was proposing to sell that at 72. Took the pulse of our patrons and our membership holders. It was about 50-50. We decided to pull it off the table at this time just because I want more buy-in than that from the public before we move off our price points. And our court reservations are simply $45 per hour. So if you want to rent 4 courts, it's $180 an hour to rent the entire facility. And with that, I have any questions?
So with the punch pass, the idea would be you'd get punched every time, and then once you get 30, you need a new one.
Yep, you'd read.
So it could extend longer than a month, basically.
That's correct.
Right? Oh, that seems like a pretty good deal, but
Rec 1 has the
Yeah.
ability to track visits. So when it's the same setup, it's the same barcode, and you scan it and it'll track visits 1 through 30.
yeah.
And on your 30th visit, you get a and you have to renew.
Renew. Any other questions or comments from the commission? Anybody online? No? Okay, well, thanks for the update, Jake.
you.
Appreciate it. And next we have Kim Warren to give us an update on pathways.
Good evening, commissioners. I'm going to sit here so I can walk you through our new map here in a bit, but I'll give you a bit of context on the interactive pathways map. This has been in the works for a while. I think you've heard me talk about it. I've had some great support from GIS and Mike and Steve along the way. Just a little bit of background. So we did update the map data. I know Mike came to you sometime late last year, and then we did get it adopted by council. So all the data is current, but there's sort of the data side of things, and then there's the actual format of how does the data look and how can people interact with it in a way that makes sense and is maybe a little simpler and more effective than it has been. So we were really focusing on the user interface just to come up with a more effective tool for communication and navigation. We were going along, kind of changing the design and making little adjustments, and finally just put it up on the website. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but you're the first group that I've formally introduced it to. So I'm glad to see Commissioner Bobo. So yeah, it's our objective. These are examples of the maps we have had. There was an interactive map on the website before, but it was not very friendly in terms of labels. You didn't necessarily know what you were looking at. And then we had some maps that you could print off, but they were really not interactive. They also had quite a bit of information on them. So we were going for something that was simpler, more friendly to read. And in the process of getting the Pathways data approved by council, recently, we ended up talking about what this map might look like. And some of their suggestions were to maybe limit the information on it. So of course, we're going to show existing facilities, but there was some discussion about showing near-term projects only. The idea that proposed pathways, sort of per our former categories, might sound like they were, I mean, they could be happening anytime, but people might presume they're happening sooner than they are. So we came up with a category that was more of a short-term, these are coming soon projects. There was a suggestion by council that maybe we start to show amenities where people could park and access the pathway system, and something that would work on a mobile device. There was talk of an app, but we think we may be able to solve it without going that route. So it's still evolving. Like I said, we put it up and we're soliciting input. So it will work on devices in addition to the web map. So it's been formatted to be friendly for phone and tablet. And I'm just going to do a quick demonstration, but Rachel, you need to help me. Let's see. Thank you. Okay, just it's on our city website. If you go to the parks button and down to pathways, there is an option on the map that you can click that will find your location for you. And there's also a way to make this go. Sorry, I'll try to have this interactive map that comes in at a view that's relatively friendly. So here's a button that you can push to show where your current location is. Less useful now than if you were out on the pathways. You can return to that initial view with the home button. So I'm going to zoom out just a bit. It shows the city limits in the kind of shaded tone, and then area of city impact is this line out here. The purple lines are Ada County Highway District bikeways to kind of fill in the gaps where our system may not be fully connected. Otherwise, we're focusing on the existing pathways in dark green, the coming soon pathways that are the dashed lines. And we've wanted to highlight those so they were really visible. We haven't found a great way to do that on the legend yet to kind of combine that symbol. So we're working on that. Let's see. So, oh, and there's also an option to toggle on future pathways, which is essentially our long-term plan. We have a need for developers who are applying for project development to know where they'll be required to build pathways. So this, we're hoping, can be a useful tool for them as well. There are other places they can find this information, but we wanted to make it also available here. But you can see how much more simple and friendly that map looks without all the lines on it. So as you scroll into or zoom into the map, more data becomes available, just like many maps. You can see parcels. One thing that's kind of fun, if you click on the park names, it will tell you what kind of a park it is, approximate acreage, and there's a link you can click on that will take you to the Settlers Park webpage in the parks website. So you know what's there, kind of how you could rent a facility. Anyway, that's useful information. I can't really, sorry, see that. Getting back there. There is a search feature. I'm not seeing it here. It may be hidden by some of, so you can search a street address. I have tried searching places and the places don't work quite as well yet. So let us know what you find that may be great, what else you'd like to see. And I would encourage you, if you'd like to take a few minutes now and you have a phone, and you need not, but you could check it out yourself if you haven't already. Search for, was it still on? Sorry, I don't know what I did there. Okay, thanks, Rachel.
And if I can interject, you can also just Google Meridian Pathways map, and it should be one of the first things that come up. And you can just click on the link that way without having to navigate through the website.
So it looks a little bit different on the phone. Oh, do you want to? Okay, so we do share our pathways data with Google. So it's available on there if you click, oh, I don't remember. There's a layer for non-vehicular travel, and it will, one of the council members really was interested in an app that might provide directions to users on the pathways, like navigational directions. That may or may not work well yet.
Madam President,
Yes.
I have a comment. I used that over the weekend. It totally works.
Oh, that's excellent.
I was using Google Maps to get me to the other side of the city, and it would tell me during the pathways to turn that were not streets, 5-mile pathway in 1,000 feet or whatever. And it worked. It guided me right there, right where I was surprised. I thought it would only do streets, but it didn't. It did the pathways too.
Commissioner, that's wonderful.
It worked out perfect because there was a sign every time.
That's good to hear. We did look at it online and it looked reasonably accurate. There are areas where if it's a sidewalk and we would call it a pathway because it's 10 feet wide, it doesn't necessarily show up on the route, but
There was a couple of oddities, but it wasn't so hard.
yeah, I mean,
figured it
there
out.
always are those anyway, to some extent, but I think it's a process that's getting refined and there's more available. So I would encourage you to try this out. And like I said, we will add some information to it in the future. I'm really excited about it. It seems like a big step ahead in terms of what we have had for a while. But we're always looking to improve. Anything to add, Steve or Mike?
Just say we're bringing it to you first, and our next stop will be to the city council. So if you have any likes, dislikes, recommendations, especially as a user, Jennifer, if you had anything that you wanted to suggest, we're open to it. But we've been working on it through the summer and pretty happy with the way it's starting to function. So
Way better than it used to be. Way better.
Great. Thank you so much. And now that our president is here, we'll turn over the meeting to you for the next agenda item.
Apologize for my tardiness. Just sometimes things spiral out of control at work. Anyway, sorry about that. I guess that's the last workshop. There's no new workshops. So we'll go on to Staff reports.
You know, I don't have much to add. I do want to reiterate the parks tour for next month. Hopefully everyone will plan ahead for that. Looking forward to getting your RSVPs and taking care of all the logistics for that. Budget season is wrapping up. The public hearing is in August. It gets adopted by September, and we start with the new fiscal year in October. But the workshops were held in June, and I gave you the presentation last time of our budget requests. But those are some of the main items we've been working on. I know you're going to hear about some others from Mike and Garrett, so I'll just stand for any questions.
No questions. So the big one that I've been working on is Discovery Park. It's probably about 50% seeded and starting to grow. The landscapers are working around the skate park right now to get in sprinklers, and then we're going to do some sod around there and seed. The pump track and bike park area is probably 95% completed. We've got a couple little touch-up areas, and then we're going to move over there and do landscaping, sprinklers, sod, seed, that kind of stuff. We've got public art going in, entry signs. Cassandra's got a couple of art pieces that are that we're doing the footings for, and they'll be ready to bolt those art pieces down, I think the week of September 11th. So we've got a lot of things happening. We've got fencing, court surfacing, just finishing touches. We're starting to assemble bleachers, garbage cans, signs, just all those little finishing touches. And hopefully it's kind of a rush at the end, but we're working hard to get it finished. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from commissioners? So I do have one, comment question, I guess. So a week or so ago, I was watching the news and they had a story of Boise opening a skate park in South Boise. And it was a big story. They had the director of Boise Parks was there, and they had some famous skateboarder dude. He looked like he was my age, but apparently, anyway, new skate park, a lot of people there excited. So I'm just curious, is that something we could think about when they open to actually have, I don't know, do we usually invite the press to come and actually do a story about skate park and bike track park? I mean, that's a big deal, right? So just curious. PR for Meridian.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right now we don't have a grand opening date, but I know that Shelley, we're starting to think about when, I know Brighton wants to participate and make it a bigger event, but I think it'd be cool to,
And it's probably, I
write some.
think it was Channel 2, because that's usually, I watch the news in the morning when I'm getting ready and for the weather, and it's usually Channel 2 because that's what comes over my rabbit ears.
I mean, there are so many things at Discovery Park that, yeah, I know they singled out, it was Molinar Skate Park.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw the story. It was like, yeah, that's cool. They put it in an existing park, so it was a big deal. I think Discovery Park is a bigger deal because
I do too.
There's way more there than just a skate park. So we got to figure out a way to make it
Just
a big splash.
All I was going to add was when we do know the opening date, we definitely will be inviting the media and holding an actual, grand opening ribbon cutting ceremony.
I'm trying to remember. I've been to a lot of ribbon cuttings, and I think we've had press like TV at some of them, but not like when the Discovery Park, couple years ago when we opened up phase 1. I don't think we had TV there. I don't know. Did we? I know we have it a few, but anyway, I think
they have.
Bird, I think Bird we did.
Yep.
Because he was kind of an icon, right? So, yeah. But I just think it'd be cool. So,
Steve, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we do a press release, and
would
whether
be-
they show up or not depends on what's going on.
All right, my turn. So as you guys all know, our parks are being heavily used, and just recently we've had a big influx because Optimus football started. A lot of soccer groups have started for their fall season. So just recently, a lot of our parks have been getting used even more. So with that comes some challenges, as you can imagine, with just everybody showing up to use it all at one time. So one thing that we've been looking at is how we actually reserve some of our parks. And this started earlier on in the summer when we had some parking issues at Settlers, when there's events, MIB tournaments and things like that. So I've been working with who's Skylar Cook in our office, to kind of determine, to take another look at how we do reserve our parks. So a lot of these neighborhood parks now, because there is a lot of green space out there, some of our green space is being used by just different users in general, from lacrosse to soccer to football to flag football, and you name it. So a lot of our neighborhood parks are being used like big regional parks sometimes. So been looking at that. Steve and I have also been working on some community center site analysis stuff. Still a lot of work to be done there. And been working on Mo Brooks lights, the big baseball field here at Story Park. Those light poles are approaching 40 years old. So we're looking to see how much longevity we have left in those poles before we do any kind of work and stuff on them. So I've been working with Idaho Power on that and should have some results soon. A lot of stuff with pool, obviously between budgets and revenues, expenditures, things like that, but also some other pool projects. Some kind of fun facts with the pool. It's all Willow and her guards. Right? I can't take any credit for that. I stay out of her way the best I can, but they have had over 1,900 kids in the swim lessons this year, which is pretty cool. And honestly, that was numbers a couple of weeks ago. So I'm sure they're probably breaching 2,000 kids with that. So that's kind of a cool number to see. Unfortunately, this Saturday is the last Saturday that we're going to be open to the public for public swim. And that's through the rest of the summer, even through the weekdays, mainly because all of our guards are going back to school. So we have a limited number of guards that stick around. So we will still have high school swim teams and the streamliners that are there still using the facility. They use it all the way through November 4th. So yes, the pool is heated, so that helps. So after Saturday, it'll all be swim teams using the facility, as well as some of Jenna's classes and programs that she has for community education classes. Today was the last day for volleyball, fall volleyball signups for the adult sports. And this is the biggest program we've had so far in adult volleyball. There was 131 teams signed up. So Maggie will be running about 7 gyms a night. And I remember back when I was running sports, we had 4 or 5 gyms a night going every night. It was busy then. So yeah, we've increased that program quite a bit. And I say we again, that's Maggie and Tyler before him and me before Tyler, but the program's still growing and it's been awesome. Shelley's mentioned the movie night and Kleiner Park Live and planning for Art Week. Just a lot of things going on, but that's it with recreation.
The one that I would add is that we also had our last day of summer camp last Friday.
Sure.
So we had it's been a very full summer of all kinds of activities, as you have heard from recreation, but the summer camp program was really big this summer as well, and just wrapped up last Friday so that teachers could start moving back into their classrooms this week.
Stand for questions if there are any.
Thanks. Man, that's a lot of volleyball. Any questions from the commission? No? All right. As always, Meridian parks are awesome. You guys just do an amazing job. So thank you. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes.
with your permission, I have a couple more updates.
Okay.
The pathway segment along the 5 Mile Creek between 10 Mile and Black Cat, our big Golden Spike connection project, that's moving along well. I haven't been out in the last few days, but when I was last out there, about half of it is paved from Cortez subdivision, about halfway in. So have you been out there more recently?
They were supposed to pave that another 300 feet
The
today.
ACH, anyway.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if it happened or not.
Anyway, it's moving along.
Go for it.
Worked out a couple of issues in the field, but it's looking great. It's, there's not much out there. So, you're kind of going through fields, there are views. We're working on a few, I guess we've got the bridge at the east end that's on order, and we're expecting it this fall. So that will be kind of our schedule decider, I think, but it's looking great and it's moving along and I'm really excited about that one. The Locust Grove Pathway Project, it's 5 different segments from McMillan to Chinden. We did, after decent amount of elapsed time, we have approved plans for construction. So we're going to get going on that. It happens to be the same contractor, just filling in segments for that important route north on the west side of Locust Grove. And then just one other quick update, the Trail Hub that does have a really beautiful new art piece. If you haven't had a chance to see it, please stop. We met yesterday on site to start a park identification sign that would possibly employ the Trail Hub artist to come up with a sign that integrates those 2 features. And then we're working on some other finishing touches for the Trail Hub. We've commissioned some custom bike racks, and so it's taking shape nicely. And I think the art piece was a really good kind of established a theme and a sense of place, and we're just building on that. So
Where was the art piece?
the art piece is at the 10-mile Trail Hub.
Oh.
I mean, I'm sorry, it's the 5 Mile Creek Trail Hub at 10 Mile Road.
Right.
Yeah,
By the
so
Water treatment plant.
by the water treatment plant across the street. Yeah, so it's kind of a
I've seen it.
gateway
I
to
think
the
I've-
pathway system. It's really a great
Right.
piece. That's all for now. There's plenty going on. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay.
Kim, without the bridge by the water, by the Golden Spike piece, can we still get across or no? Is there even like a little bridge or anything, or you have to wait to ride it until there's a bridge?
There's nothing now. So yeah, it would be just kind of a dead end, long pathway. So, and there are some other things we're trying to be respectful of adjacent property owners and put up some fencing to kind of keep people, where they should be. So it won't be ready for a while. And at the 9 Mile Creek, there's nothing to do but turn around at this point, but it's close.
And also I do enjoy that art piece. I rode to it and it looks nice from the road. And I know that was one of our goals, is to have something that looks nice from the road. But when you stop and look at it, the detail, there's a little surprises all around it. It's a fun art piece.
Absolutely. It is. It's great on a number of different scales, up close and from a distance. And I think it's really, I can't take any responsibility for it, but it was really successful. I think it's been a good starting point for placemaking. So.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Any other business anybody has? Commission? Okay, well, again, apologize for my tardiness. And if there's nothing else, I'd ask for a motion for adjournment. Yes,
Mr. President, I would like to make a motion that we adjourn the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Again, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.